Welcome back to the channel, Faz Fam. Alan's Nightmares and Games, you guys. Today's video is probably one of the weirdest, saddest, and honestly most haunting stories I've read from the Tales from the Pizzaplex series, right? And that story is called Frailty. And I had to reread this story a few times because I kept asking myself, what even is going on in this story? What is going on with this character, Jessica? Is she human? Is she an animatronic, a robot? How does she fit into the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, right? And honestly, I was left with more questions than answers, but in a good way, you guys. Now, if you played Five Nights at Freddy's as long as I have, since like 2014 or whenever the original game dropped, you're gonna be trying to connect the dots, right? So I couldn't connect the dots, you guys. I'm like, what is going on in this story? Now, maybe you all can drop some information down in the comment section that'll help me and shed some insight into what's happening in Frailty. All right, now let's jump into the story real quick. So the story starts off with an emergency scene. You got classic horror vibes. You have a teenage boy who's crashed his car, and you have EMT trying to save his life. They're just about to call it, right? They're just about to declare the boy deceased when all of a sudden a mysterious figure just pops out of nowhere, right? Small, frail, long hair, appears over the body, apparently doing something with a knife. Yeah, a knife, basically. And then the kid basically comes back to life. I know it's creepy, it's really bizarre. And the character who's doing all this is a girl. Her name is Jessica, and she's like the main character in this story. And from this point on, this is where things get like really strange, because to describe Jessica's character, she's quiet, she goes to high school, she's a janitor at a hospital. She mops floors on the children's wing of the hospital. She doesn't really talk much. She keeps her head down. She focuses on her work, but she's always watching, right? She's watching all the sick kids. She feels their pain, and we start to realize that she's secretly helping these kids. You're probably wondering how. Well, with a metal pendant. So she scrapes like this metal pendant. She scrapes it with a knife over the sick kids while they sleep. These little silver flakes fall on the kids, but every time she does this, she gets weaker. So she basically is exchanging her life for theirs, right? She gets paler, she gets weaker, she trembles. It's like her life force drains. So immediately I'm like, is this pendant, is it magic? Is she even real? You know what I'm saying? So then we transition over to the high school part. And honestly, it's kind of sad. Like, she gets bullied, she gets called names like Zombie Girl, but she ends up getting paired with this genuinely nice guy named Robert from her school, right? And they get paired up to do this project where they have to build like this mini robot or whatever. And she slowly starts to come out of her shell. They even go to prom together. And I gotta say, the prom scene is probably one of the cooler moments in the Pizzaplex story, because it allows her to, you get to see Jessica come out of her shell. She gets a dress. She feels seen for once, right? She's dancing. She's having a good time. Things are going really well. The character Robert goes in for a kiss, and when he kisses her, he pulls back and he notices that his face is like covered in grease. This is where everything just goes completely wrong, because after this, Jessica's fantasy collapses and everyone is pointing, everyone is laughing at her. The character Robert is like, what the heck is going on? Where did all this grease come from? You know, so she ends up running out of the school. It's like something straight out of a Carrie horror movie. She runs back to the hospital in full breakdown. She runs straight to one of the sick kids, and she scrapes her pendant one last time over this kid to heal them. And then after that, she just vanishes, never to be seen again. All that's left of her is a pile of metal bolts, rust and oil, almost like her body was never human to begin with. And the child is completely healed. So yeah, I had to reread this story a few times because my brain was like, wait, was Jessica an animatronic? Was she human, or was there something more that was going on? So if you guys have theories or info on this story, let me know. I also learned that apparently there's a book titled To Be Beautiful. And in that book, there's a woman by the name of Eleanor who replaces a human girl with a perfect metal replica. I guess I should have read that book first I don't know. You guys tell me. The twist with this story is that Jessica wants to help, right? She's not malicious. She's not self-sacrificing. So that's why I'm like, if she was an animatronic, I think that she would have been on the bad side, right? She would have been doing some dark stuff. But that's not the case here. She's choosing to heal people, even though it means ending her own existence. So I don't know what's going on with this story. But like, again, you guys tell me, all right? So was she built to help? Maybe she was reprogrammed for something else. Maybe she was possessed. I don't know. Yeah, my favorite part in this story is the prom scene because it's emotional, it's hopeful, and then it completely shatters in like a matter of seconds, right? 1 second you're rooting for this lonely girl to just have a good night, and the next second she's melting. She's turned into grease or she's just gone, right? And that's when it kind of hits you that this wasn't just a horror story, it was a tragedy story. Frailty might be one of the most emotional stories in the Pizzaplex series that I've read so far. Was Jessica ever human? Is the pendant maybe Fazbear tech, right? Maybe it's a Fazbear tech artifact. Or maybe Jessica was someone who passed away and then brought back to life by unnatural or supernatural means. I don't know. Something else to think about in this story is what happens when we give too much of ourselves away to try and fix everything. Food for thought, right? Anyways, you guys, that's my take on Frailty. It's haunting, it's sad, and it's also very beautiful, right? And if you read the story, or maybe you have your own theories, feel free to drop them down in the comment section, you guys, because I'm just as lost, right? Is Jessica human? Is she an animatronic? I'm still trying to figure out how this story fits into the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. If you enjoyed this book review, hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. You can also support my content by going to buy me a coffee, or as I like to say, buy me an extra life, right? Because I die a lot when I play FNAF fan games. So you can support my content by buying me an extra life. With that said, hope you guys have a great weekend. Take care. Peace out.